Good morning, everybody. Today we are we're going to be streaming Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing. Um, we're about to get right into it, but before we do, let's quickly say a word of prayer because on this show we believe that prayer is our first resort and not our last. Lord, I thank you for today. Lord, I pray for Erica Kirk. I pray for the entire Kirk family that's in that courtroom today. Lord, I ask you to be with them, give them comfort. Lord, I pray for the prosecutors, the defense. Lord, I just pray that the truth comes out, Lord, and I ask you to give just each and every person in there just peace, Lord, because I know this is tough. And I just pray, Lord God, that the public is open to hearing the truth and that the truth set everybody free in this situation. Thank you that justice will be served. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know that the court has already given the rules. So that's why I didn't think it was important to start at the beginning, just because y'all don't need to hear all that. So we're going to go ahead and get into the footage. Thank you, everybody, for joining this morning.
Neither party wanted the benefit of the record. Ms. Nestor invoked the exclusionary rule. And Mr. Grunander, if you'd like to approach the lectern as the microphones at the tables are not activated.
Thank you, Judge. We anticipated that the defense would invoke the exclusionary rule. We consulted with defense for just a couple of minutes prior to the start of this hearing. We essentially have two case agents, Your Honor, David Hull and Brian Davis, both from the state of Utah. The defense has consented that both of them can be present. So one is seated at my table, the front table. This is Brian Davis, Agent Davis, and Agent Hull is seated on the bench just on the other side of the bar. He will be present for this hearing as well. Both of these agents will be testifying as part of the hearing.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor, your microphone's dead. If you want to come forward, and it sounds like you've stipulated, but just for the benefit of the record.
We have stipulated, Your Honor, for purposes of this hearing only.
Thank you. All right, so Agents Davis and Hull are permitted to remain in the courtroom during the duration of the preliminary hearing. Any other business that we need to address before we turn to the business of witnesses? Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. Richard Novak for Mr. Robinson. Your Honor, the court had issued an order, maybe it was early last week, asking the parties to meet and confer about the question of whether exhibits will be published. And we did, and we can either deal with this as a general matter or we can deal with it on an exhibit by exhibit basis. But I just wanted to make sure that we didn't lose track of that issue. The court had earlier entered an order granting in part the defense motion to exclude I'm just going to say technology in the courtroom because it's a shorthand for video cameras and photography and microphones, because the parties had earlier stipulated that none of the exhibits would be available from the preliminary hearing, would be available for inspection or copying. I understand that publishing the exhibits in the courtroom may technically.
All right, we're going to kind of stop periodically just because we're going to go over what they're saying. And obviously, I'm streaming someone else's live, so I've got to be careful, right? And I'm going to switch between lives. But let me give you just sort of how the day is going to go as far as my coverage. First of all, I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today. As you know, we covered Carmelo Anthony's trial last month. Now we have this amazing opportunity to cover another trial, but obviously I'm doing it from home. This trial really hits home for me just because I worked for Charlie Kirk when I was 18 years old. I was a campus coordinator on the University of Oklahoma campus. And I'm deeply saddened by his passing. However, I know that Charlie Kirk continues to live on in all of us. His legacy lives on. And so I'm going to, of course, keep you all updated, and I want to thank everybody for being here. Also, I want to let you know that my coverage will be from where we are now to around noon Central Standard Time. And then I've got errands that I have to run that I can't put off today, which will be around their lunchtime. Then we'll go from there. I'm not sure exactly if I'll return, but I will be providing recaps. I already have some content in the queue that I'm working on regarding this case already. So this is going to be a very full week. Thank you everybody for joining. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, join the conversation below. Also, a great way to support the show throughout the trial is to send in super chats. If you would like to get a conversation started, I would love to answer all questions about the trial, and of course, love hearing from you guys. So your comments are greatly appreciated as well. Let's go ahead and continue.
Be different than that, but whenever the court is ready to deal with that issue, we just want to make sure that we do so
Thank you, Mr.
before it's
Howard.
too late.
That's always the right time to do it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I want to skip to where they are now. Basically, what you heard in the prosecutor is up now. You heard him ask, can he show all the exhibits to the public? Obviously, the court says that it depends on what you're showing. So it's case by case. Let's get into it.
Witnesses. They're all law enforcement witnesses. Officer Chris Bagley, he's now with Spanish Fork Police Department. He was with Utah Valley University Police Department. He'll be the first witness. The second witness will be Agent David Hull, and those exhibits 7, 8, 9, we anticipate coming in through him. The third witness will be Agent Brian Davis, again with the state of Utah, a case agent who's here presently. And lastly, Sergeant Jennifer Faumuina, also of the Utah Department of Public Safety. And we do anticipate admitting between 40 and 50 exhibits.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Grunander, I apologize. You walked away before I got my question out. If we anticipate taking a break around 10:30, do you anticipate any potential exhibits for publication being requested prior to 10:30?
I do, Judge.
Okay.
I do. I think the first several exhibits should be published.
Wow.
So,
All right. Well, let's do this. I want our preliminary hearing to move smoothly and with the least amount of delays as possible. So let's take a brief break to allow the placement of that monitor, a brief test to make sure it's working, and then we can be seamless in moving forward.
one quick question, Judge, for counsel's benefit. Are the monitors at the tables going to be turned on?
The monitors are, and
Okay.
that's why I wanted to give that instruction early on for each party to monitor their monitor. Because if the camera is doing a wide sweep picture of the courtroom, I can't prevent the accidental capture. Obviously, the decorum.
All right, so they're on break now. So considering the fact that break has already started, which wasn't expected, let's do something while they're doing that. So I want to know, how are you guys feeling this morning? How's everybody doing this morning? As you heard from the prosecutor, which the state presents their case first, then the defense is allowed to respond to their case. So I assume that within the first couple days, we're going to hear a lot from the state, and also the defense will be able to cross-examine the state's witnesses. I'm not sure how many witnesses the state has. However, it seems as though they have a full roster. Now, just to go over some of the names that the prosecutor said are going to be on the stand today, let's do that. They said, he said he's going to bring up Officer Chris Bately, Agent David Hall, Agent Brian Davis, Sergeant Jennifer Miranda, and there will be between, I believe, 20 and 40 exhibits shown throughout the day. So it seems as though there's going to be a full day. I know that a few people that we really, really like, which I guess I should speak for myself, a few commentators are there right now, including Officer Tatum. I believe that Joshua Carr is there. So we're going to definitely, yeah, right now I see Joshua Carr is there and he's just showing the same screen as everybody else. But I do plan on showing his screen some of the time just to kind of check in with Joshua. Also, Officer Tatum is there as well. Let me see what he has going on his stream. And if it's something that you guys would probably want to, I was up last night thinking about everything. Couldn't really find myself going to sleep just because there was so much on my mind. And also with the 4th of July being on Saturday, I was in such a patriotic mood, you know, like, and I feel the same way now. Like I'm in such a patriotic mood, but also I was thinking about, of course, Charlie Kirk last night, and honestly, not thinking about him in a mourning sense. I wasn't thinking about him as far as, oh, I'm mourning the loss right now. It was more so, wow, Charlie Kirk really lived his life well, and he lived his life to the fullest. And that was so evident. And I thought about the time when Charlie was given a speech, and I believe it was at AmFest 2023. I believe it was 2023 because it was right before the election. And he gave this consequential speech. I mean, this was an important speech. And I was reflecting on it yesterday or really this morning. And I wrote this post on X. And I posted it really, really late. So if you haven't already, be sure to catch me on X at Tamara Neely to see updates that I post throughout the day. Sometimes I just post things that I think people might want to look at as far as news commentary goes, and you know, just try to keep the public updated on what's happening and give my perspective and my commentary, because I think it's so important to get ahead of the culture war. And moving forward on this channel, I'm going to do more educational content. Now, I'm still going to be doing commentary, but I realize that a lot of people don't know American history. And they are buying into leftist lies. They're buying into communism. They're buying into socialism. And I think it's because they don't know what they don't know. And unfortunately, in the current public school system, people are not being taught, students are not being taught American history, or if they're being taught American history, it's in a way that's putting our founders down, that's making it seem like our entire country is racist, that there's no hope, that America needs to be America needs to basically start over again, and we've got to deconstruct the whole country. That's the type of history, those are the type of history lessons that our young people are getting today a lot of times. And when I was in high school, I did learn about American history. I took AP government when I was a senior in high school up until I was I unfortunately had to go to school online because of COVID, but I took it up until then, and then it moves. Actually, I don't remember how that ending went. But anyways, up until COVID, which was the second semester of my senior year, around March is when it took off, I was in AP literature, or not AP lit, AP government. And so I learned about the presidents and things like that. But I wouldn't say that I learned as much as I did about American history as I did in college. And that is only because of Charlie Kirk. I remember going to, oh my goodness, it just gets me excited. I remember going to SAS, Turning Point USA Student Action Summit. That was the first ever event that they paid for me to go to. I mean, they paid for everything because they saw that I was doing a good job, according to them, when it comes to activism on my campus. And they called and they said, we want to invest in you. We're so proud of you. We want to fly you out to SAS. And I remember just how much that conference boosted my morale, how much it just made me so excited to just be an American and I realized the importance of young people standing on Christian values and standing for the truth and sharing the truth, not just holding it in for themselves. And that is because of Charlie Kirk. If you've ever heard of George Washington, Charlie Kirk is somebody, which obviously, hopefully you've heard of George Washington. He was the first president of the United States. But Charlie Kirk is somebody who reminds me of George Washington. I mean, so much so. He was just such a leader. And I wrote this for him. Let me see. It seems like we're still on break, so we're doing good on time. I wrote this for him yesterday, or thinking about him. And it says, all that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. Edward Burke. And I wrote, this is my commentary, do good. That's why you're here, to make a difference. Don't be someone who waits for someone else to do the right thing. You start. The expectation is not for you to be perfect, but to be willing. Charlie Kirk quoted Isaiah 6:8, which says, also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. And that was Charlie Kirk's posture. I saw him. I remember when I first became aware of who Charlie Kirk was. Like I said, I was 18. We were hosting him on campus. I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was like that. I knew Turning Point USA. We had just hosted and Culture just the previous semester. And so I was looking forward to meeting the founder of Turning Point USA, Iglesias co-founder. And I was excited to host him on campus. He wasn't as big as he was when he passed away as far as his popularity goes. So a lot of people didn't know who he was, but people were starting to know. And I remember meeting Charlie, and he was really tall. He was 6'5", so he was really, really tall. And I remember looking up to him like, whoa, he is really tall. And he was kind of, you could tell he was really smart, like one of those people who's super smart. And I would say that he also had like a little bit of awkwardness in a way. But once he got on the stage, he was super comfortable, and he was also really friendly with us. But I could tell he was just like, I don't know, just kind of like a nerd, but also a friendly person. You know, that was kind of my perception of him at that time. And I saw him grow over time. So this was back in 2021. This was March of 2021, around that time. And so I got to see him grow over the years. And at the time, his mission was about limited government. And he was talking about free market capitalism. He hadn't really introduced Turning Point USA faith. He hadn't really started talking about Isaiah 6:8 yet. At the time, he was just focused on limited government and free market capitalism and the Second Amendment and teaching students about that. And Turning Point was great back then. It was great. But what I will say is it got even better, because once he started talking about faith, and he started talking about his love for Jesus Christ, and he started talking more about the issues that matter to young people today, like some of the issues that we are seeing this generation face, that's when Charlie Kirk blew up. Those campus tours and all that stuff. And of course, he was hosting the Charlie Kirk show. He was doing a lot of stuff. And I love the fact that I got to see that, because I know that so many people who know of Turning Point USA now don't know the history. And I wasn't even there from the very, very beginning. My friend Zoe, she was there from like the very, very beginning, pretty much. At least like very, very close to the beginning, when Turning Point was flying Black Americans out to the White House. She was there for that. Rest in peace, Zoe. She's passed away now. Which, you know, makes me kind of sad thinking about it. But she was there for that. And then I came about in like 2020. And now I see where Turning Point is, and I'm like, whoa, this organization is massive. Now, I wrote this message. I wrote this prayer just because it was on my heart. And I wrote it early this morning, 7 hours ago, which was around 3 a.m. I just really couldn't sleep. It looks like they're about to,
Please be
I'm
seated.
hearing the audio. Okay, so we're back. I'll get to that prayer
Court is
once I
back in
can.
session.
Welcome back, everybody.
Noting
They're
the
back in
presence of
session.
counsel and the parties to the state, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, we are, Judge, but prior to calling our first witness, I would like Mr. McBride to make a brief report on discovery updates, and then just inform the court that the state has provided copies of all exhibits for today's proceedings to the defense in advance of this hearing.
All right. Mr. McBride.
Yes, Your Honor. My report at the last hearing is the latest report. As of June
Please be
18th, we
seated.
have provided approximately 100% of the material in our possession.
Court is back in
Over the last
session.
week, we have received additional
Noting the
materials from
presence of
FBI,
counsel and the
due to
parties to
preparation,
the state, are you
for
ready
this
to
hearing.
proceed?
Those materials have not
Interesting.
yet
I'm
been
hearing
provided,
two
but they will
different.
be as soon
Yes,
Give
we
me
are,
one
Judge,
second.
but prior to calling our first witness, I would like Mr. McBride to make a
Well, it
brief
looks like
report on discovery
Josh
updates,
Carr
and then
is
just inform
ahead
the
of
court that
things,
the state
so
has provided copies of all exhibits.
I can't have all these streams going at the same time. We're gonna stream Josh's stream
Bench
for a little bit.
require the benefit of the record. No, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Nestor. In case the mic didn't pick that up, she declined. All right, turning to the state, you may call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Officer Chris Bagley.
Officer Bagley, if you'd like to come forward, looks like he's being brought into the courtroom.
Shout out to Joshua Carr for this stream. Y'all be sure to check him out on his channel at Joshua Carr. He's been covering the Charlie Kirk case as well, and
All
talking
right, Officer
about
Bagley,
just
if you
some of
wouldn't
the
mind
woke
coming
right
forward, past the
issues that are
lectern and
going
being
on.
sworn in.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give in the case now pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, Officer Bagley, if you wouldn't mind having a seat at the witness table.
So this is the first witness that we're
And
seeing
after
right
you're
here.
situated, to your left is a bottle of water, and if you wouldn't mind.
And
bringing the
apparently he's an
microphone
officer.
toward
He's
you
an
to
officer.
ensure that it picks up your voice.
Can you hear that?
I can, thank you. Mr. Grunander, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Will you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Christopher Bagley, last name spelling Bagley.
And how are you employed
I'm employed with the Spanish Fork Police Department as a police officer.
as a police officer? What is your position or your rank there?
I'm just a senior officer,
Senior officer, okay.
Mm.
How long have you been with the Spanish Fork Police Department?
about 5 months,
5 months. How long have you been a police officer?
26 years.
Okay. Will you briefly describe, for the court's benefit, your training, what you did to become a police officer?
I did the Utah Post Academy, which is about 600 hours of training for basic things to become a police officer, report writing, arrest control, stuff to that effect.
When you say Post Academy, is Post an acronym?
It is.
What does that stand for?
Police Officer Standard Training.
Okay.
I'm so used to
Um,
this now just
Were you
because
certified through Post?
I was.
Okay.
I'm so used to this process now because of Carmelo Anthony's case. I'm so glad that I end up attending that because now I kind of know the flow. I know what's happening here. They're going to do this with every single witness. They're going to sit them down. They're going to ask them about their background. Depending on the witness, they're going to say, okay, tell me how you grew up. Tell me about your childhood, which we'll probably hear some of that when it comes to the people who are closest to the case, as far as the people who either A, witnessed it or they know Tyler Robinson.
And what did that certification require?
Going through that post and graduating, all the academy, all the credits that you could get up with hours, and then physical fitness, stuff to that effect, and then graduating from that to earn the certificate.
Was there also testing involved
There was.
at the academy?
Yes.
Okay. Were you employed in September of 2025?
I was.
And where were you employed then?
Utah Valley Police Department.
And how long did you work for the Utah Valley University Police Department?
5 years.
5 years, okay. And do you recall what your position or your rank was there?
A senior officer there.
Senior officer, okay. Describe, if you would, just your general duties as a police officer at Utah Valley University.
There at Utah Valley University, we'd patrol the campus, we'd walk around, we'd patrol, we would do investigations if there was crimes to that effect. We'd make sure that students or staff, if they needed something, we'd be there for them. So basic police, kind of like a school resource officer, community-oriented policing.
Did you?
With detectives.
Okay. While you were at Utah Valley University, did you have access to the video surveillance system on campus?
Yes, I did.
And how so?
It was at our desktop where our police station is. We have desks, and on our desktops, we'd have access to it there. Or we'd go into dispatch and they'd have a wall full of camera systems that we could look at.
How familiar did you become with that system?
Very familiar.
Can you describe how you became very familiar?
Like I said, it was one of our daily routines that we'd go in there. If we were looking for somebody or tracking something back, we'd go in, we'd go back to that time frame. We could trace somebody to track somebody through campus. I'd also turn around and make some maps, so it was easier for dispatch or somebody to click on an area in the campuses where the buildings were and be able to click a little bit easier and get a faster response. So made some maps and stuff like that
And how often did you use this system?
every day.
Okay. Did you become familiar with the campus at Utah Valley University when
Yes,
you
sir.
were working there?
Yes.
And explain how you became familiar with it.
Like I said, we'd walk around. I would train other officers.
Shout out to Joshua Carr for this coverage. He's doing a great job. I reached out to Josh before this to ask him if I could stream this. He hasn't responded. He's so busy, but he's a good friend of mine, so let's hope that it's all right.
We'd make sure that we knew all the ins and outs, the back doors. We'd make sure we knew where every classroom was, where every entrance and exit was. We'd secure the building. We patrol the neighborhoods. We patrol around campus, and then we also have off-site campuses that we drive to and make sure that they're secure also.
Okay. You mentioned that you patrol the neighborhoods
Yes,
surrounding campus.
yes,
What about the neighborhood to the north and east of campus?
yes.
Okay. What was your purpose for patrolling those neighborhoods as an officer for UVU?
One, it was right next to UVU, so we patrolled it. Sometimes people would run up in that area or be walking up that way. We'd have stolen bikes, stuff like that. So we'd go into the areas, look for stuff. Also with Orem Police Department, we'd go back up them quite a bit for other calls, and a lot of it would be in the area.
Okay, so back up just a little bit. So Utah Valley University is located in what city?
Orem, Utah.
Orem, Utah. Okay. How familiar did you become with the buildings on campus
Very familiar.
and the walkways?
Very familiar.
You mentioned the entrances and exits to the buildings. What about parking structures?
Yes,
Same answer for that?
yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the courtyard or the outdoor amphitheater on campus?
I am.
And generally speaking, where is that located on campus?
It's more of the central, it's an outdoor area centered by a bunch of buildings around it. So it's in the center of the campus pretty much.
Okay, can you describe what it looks like, this courtyard, this amphitheater?
It's kind of like an amphitheater look. So you got some grass and a couple of steps that go up. You got some cement on top with some bushes and flowers. You've got places where people can sit and eat. They come out and study and relax on the grass. And there's a waterfall with a little pond that comes down into a stream. So,
Okay. Are you familiar with the surroundings, the buildings around the amphitheater?
yes, I am.
Okay. In relationship to this amphitheater, this courtyard, where is the Hall of Flags located?
It would be directly west of the courtyard.
Okay. Is it part of the courtyard or is it just off of the courtyard?
It's kind of the courtyard. It like butts up right against the courtyard, so it'll be the west side of the courtyard.
Okay, so to the west of the courtyard. Is there a walkway across the Hall of Flags?
There is.
Okay,
There's an
and
inside one and an outside one.
Okay, so what is the Hall of Flags then?
The Hall of Flags is a kind of like a bridge between two buildings that all the flags throughout the world are represented in there with some chairs where people sit down and relax with windows so you can see through all the way to the Utah Lake.
Okay. What are those two buildings that are connected by this Hall of Flags?
The Fugal Building over to like the Science Building area.
Okay, so you mentioned the Fugal Building.
Yes.
Where is the Fugal Building located in relationship to this courtyard?
It's to the south of the courtyard.
Okay. Does it run up against the courtyard,
It does.
the building? Okay. What about the Woodbury Business Building? Where's
Shout
the
out to
relationship the
Josh for
courtyard?
streaming this.
That's
Y'all
kinda
be sure to show
southeast
him
of
some
Utah.
some support on his
And in
channel
relationship
as
to the
well.
Fugal Building, where's that?
Thank you,
sourced?
Joshua Carr, for
Excuse me,
streaming
that
this. It
business
means a
building,
lot.
The Woodbury Business Building.
Woodbury Business is right directly east of the Fugal.
Okay. What about the Sorensen Center? Where is that located with respect to this courtyard?
The Sorensen Center is going to be kind of like a northeast of the courtyard.
Okay. Does it, again, run up against this courtyard?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And where is it in relationship to the business building?
Woodbury Business Building is just directly south of the Sorensen.
Directly south. Okay. The Losi Center, are you familiar with that building?
I am
And where is it located on campus?
directly east of the courtyard amphitheater area.
Okay. Does it run up to the courtyard? The Losi Center?
No, not really.
Okay,
It doesn't
so,
run right up against it. So the Sorensen Building is kind of like right between those two.
okay, in relationship to the Sorensen building, what direction is the Losi building?
East.
East, okay. Are you familiar with the LDS Institute building on campus?
Yes, I am.
And where is that located?
That is going to be located north of the Losi Building and just kind of like northeast of the courtyard.
Okay. And is there a parking structure next to this Institute building?
Yeah, there is.
And where is that?
That is going to be, so you mentioned the Institute Building is going to be north of the Losi Center. There is a parking structure that has several levels of parking. It's going to be directly west of the Institute Building. And then they also have a parking lot to the north of that across the road.
Okay. With respect to the parking structure,
Okay.
can you describe for the court how one would enter this parking structure, driving and even walking? How do you enter and exit that structure?
So
Okay, y'all.
on the
I
north
do
end, the
have a
parking
good,
structure is
an
Campus
important
Drive. You can
announcement.
drive in and exit on the level one.
I
so
have
that's
an
ground level.
important
That's
announcement.
where
Let
you
me pause
enter
this
to.
for a second. As you can see, the officer is getting into the nitty gritty. He was there. He is, just so you know, if you're just coming in, Officer Chris Bately is a senior officer. So he is used to patrolling the neighborhood, surveying the community at Utah Valley University. And so it's interesting to hear his perspective, which he's kind of obviously being questioned right now. But I did want to tell you guys that I reached out to Joshua Carr. He did respond. Shout out to him. Y'all be sure to support him. I'm using his coverage because he's my friend and I won't get copyrighted. I just want to let you guys know that he said it is okay for me to use his stream, so we will be using it. Y'all, please be sure to show him support. And thank you everybody for the super chats as well. Shout out to Minnie Girl 175 for this $2 super chat that says RIP Charlie. I'm right there with you.
Driving in.
I'm right there with you.
That's fine. So table monitors witness, but not the main monitor. Thank you. All right, Mr. Grunander, thank you.
Thank you,
Interesting.
Judge. Do you see that's plaintiff's exhibit number one,
Okay, so
officer?
I just
do.
read in the comment section, which he's about to get into an exhibit, so I don't want to take too much time on this comment, but shout out to somebody who said the volume is pretty low on the video. When you speak, it's better. I don't know. It's just me. Ads are louder. If that's the case, like I said, I'm streaming this from Joshua Carr's channel, so I'm not sure exactly how he set up his audio, but if you can, just turn it up a little bit. I'm going to do the best I can. As you can see, I've turned up the audio as much as I can, but there's so many things that some things are just out of my control, but I have Joshua Carr's permission to stream this. So just maybe turn it up a little bit if you can.
And do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
This is an area of the buildings plus the courtyard in the middle, is all the grassy area. So this is an area of the campus at Utah Valley University.
Is it a photograph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you familiar then with what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes, I am.
Does it fairly and accurately portray this area of campus?
Yes, it does.
Can you tell the court what direction the camera is facing when this photograph was taken?
It's kind of facing north and a little to the east.
Okay. Does it depict a number of the buildings that we've talked about today?
Yes, it does.
For example, the Hall of Flags, does it show the Hall of Flags?
Yes, it does.
The walkway of the Hall of Flags? What about the Sorensen Center? Does it show that?
Yes, it does.
The Woodbury Business Building?
Yes, it does.
The Fugel Building?
Yes.
What about the Losi Center? Can you see that from this photograph?
Yes.
Is this photograph a fair and accurate depiction of this area of UVU campus on September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit 1.
Your Honor, we would object to failure to lay a foundation for, I'm sorry.
It is a little bit tricky because that microphone.
Sorry about
Ms.
that.
Nestor.
Your Honor, we would object to inability to authenticate. There's not been a foundation laid that this officer took this photo, can verify when it was taken, or by whom it was taken. So we would
What?
object.
Mr. Grunander.
You gotta be kidding
Would
me.
you like us to argue now or approach the bench?
Well, as it relates to this, I'll hear argument.
Okay. Judge, first of all, it's very clear, well-established law that the person who took the photograph is not required to be present to lay the foundation for it.
That
What's
is
required for
crazy.
foundation is that the witness has knowledge of what's depicted in the photograph and can testify to its accuracy. And that's exactly what this officer has done. We laid an ample amount of foundation about this area of campus. He's confirmed that it depicts this area of campus that was previously described. He confirmed the buildings that he can see there. He also confirmed that it was an accurate depiction of this on September 10th, 2025.
Thank you. Any further argument, Ms. Nestor? And Mr. Grunander,
We did file a standing objection at the very beginning of the hearing. I would just refer to our standing objection as well. I know this is there's no written testimony in this, but just out of an abundance of caution, I want to also refer to our standing objection.
thank you, Ms. Nestor. All right, having considered the arguments, I find I'm going to overrule the objection and admit Exhibit 1. This witness has firsthand knowledge of the location.
Let's stop it for a second. And this is why I'm streaming the trial. This is exactly why I'm providing updates to you and commentary, because y'all, what she just did was crazy. And it gives us insight on how the defense is going to play this out. They're going to object to everything because they don't have a case. I mean, that's crazy. You're objecting to him showing a map of Utah Valley College? That's insanity. This is literally the officer at the school. Senior officer. Why would you object to that? I see what game they're playing. So just so you're aware, they're not gonna play fair. This might be a rough trial. Now, one thing about Carmelo Anthony's trial is when I was in the courtroom and exhibits were presented, most of the time nobody objected to those exhibits. Now, sometimes there were some objections just because of technicality issues or whatever, but it was rare. But in this situation, I see how they're playing. And the defense is ready to fight. And they're going to object to every little thing because their case is weak. And we know that just by this first objection. Let's keep watching.
As well as the building locations, that foundation has been laid. He also stated it was a fair and accurate representation of what's being depicted here. And for those reasons, the defense objection is overruled. State's Exhibit 1 is admitted into evidence and may be published to the courtroom.
Okay. So the state would move to publish that to the courtroom.
It is so granted.
Officer Bagley, are you able to see the monitor that's here in the court that's pointed towards the gallery?
Yes.
From where you're seated, are you comfortable in describing where the courtyard is on that photograph, on that exhibit?
Yes.
And for the record, where is that located?
So all the grass, it looks like a
Wow.
triangle. The amphitheater look, that is,
Minnie said this is exactly what she did in the last case that she just lost. Wow. Who is this lawyer? We're going to have to look into her. What's her name, y'all? Please drop it in the chat. Also, thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for liking this stream. Be sure to share it out with somebody else who may want to hear some of the commentary that we're providing today. Thank you for all your support, super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps, any way that you support the show. It helps us to stay on air and helps me to stay independent. So I want to thank you guys for all of that. Let's keep going.
it's going to be the courtyard amphitheater area. It's got the tent in it, the white tent that's at the bottom on the far left of the picture. That would be the courtyard area. It's surrounded by buildings, more of the grass area.
I'm going to approach the photo. Well, I'm just going to. When you look at this exhibit to the left of the photograph, there's a walkway there. What is that walkway?
So the red brick walkway that is going north to the top of the picture on the far left is going to be the Hall of Flags, the outside top of it.
Okay. On the bottom of this photograph, there's a white roofed building. It's the largest building, at least as far as what's depicted on this exhibit.
Yes.
What building is that?
That would be the Fugal building.
Okay, and just to the right of that, so that would be to the east of the Fugal building. What building is that?
The other red brick pathway area, that is the Woodbury business building.
Okay. And if I were to walk north, so left on this photograph with respect to that red brick walkway area, there's another building, sort of triangular in shape, the rooftop. What building is that?
With that white rooftop, that would be the Sorensen building.
That's the Sorensen building. And what about the Losi building? You've described that. Where's that located on this photograph?
If you go to that triangle white roof, if you go directly to the right, so the right side of the picture, that is going to be the Losi building. It's got several levels.
Is it to the right and up a little bit as
Yes.
well? Okay, and that would be east on this photograph. Is that
And
correct?
it's got the gravel rooftop.
Gravel rooftop, okay. I referred you to the LDS Institute building. Are you able to see that in this photograph?
Yes, you are.
And where is that located?
That's going to just be directly north of the Losi building. It's going to be that other white roofed building on the far top of the picture.
Okay, thank you, officer. We can take that down, Your Honor, as far as the publication. Officer Bagley, I'm going to take you back to the date of September 10th, 2025. Do you recall that day generally?
I do.
Were you working that day
Yes, I was.
at UVU?
I was, yes.
Okay. Do you remember what time your shift started approximately?
Yeah, it probably started about 11 o'clock in the morning.
11 o'clock in the morning? Okay. Did you receive a specific assignment shortly after coming on to duty?
Yes, I did.
And what was that assignment?
It was to secure the top of the Hall of Flags on the south end. So we had people that were gathering on top of that were looking down on top of the tent. So we wanted to secure that area. So I was put up on top of the Hall of Flags on the south end.
Okay. My apologies, Your Honor. Could we have Exhibit 1 published again?
Go ahead and republish State's Exhibit 1. Thank you.
You mentioned that you were securing the south end of the walkway on top of the Hall of Flags.
Mhm.
And so where do we find that in this exhibit, officer?
So if you can see the tent, the white tent,
Thank you so much, Minnie, for the jewels. I sure appreciate the 200 jewels that you just sent. Just an update for everybody who's just now entering into the chat, into the conversation. What you missed is that the prosecutor has announced that they are going to be interviewing 4 witnesses. We have Officer Chris Bately up now, which he's on the stand. He is a senior officer. And also, he has been shown a map of UVU. And on this map, there are 4 different buildings that the prosecutor has mentioned and asked him to verify if he's aware of those buildings. And also, now we're at the place where we're at a point where he's being asked about 910. And he has said that his job on 910 was to secure the Hall flags on the south end. So that was his job. Let's keep going.
there's that rooftop where the red brick is. I was on top of that, and there's some, actually looks like yellow crime scene tape. That was some of our barrier that we put up so people wouldn't go above that and walk. So I was sitting right by those flower plants that were by the Fugal on the south end.
So is the south end on the bottom of this photograph?
Yes.
Where that walkway kind of begins from the bottom? And you've referred to a tent. Is that the white object we see inside the courtyard?
Yeah, that square white object with the tent.
thank you.
Interesting. The
So you
tent.
were securing that area.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you have the opportunity that morning, you mentioned you checked on about 11 o'clock that morning and later to,
The white tent is more than likely Charlie Kirk's tent that we saw. Obviously, we've seen pictures of that. If you've been paying attention to the evidence that's been released, Charlie Kirk was under a white tent that day. And this officer, Officer Bately, is the one who secured that tent, or was supposed to.
walk around campus that day?
Yes,
Did you walk along the Hall of Flags that day,
I did.
that walkway?
Yes.
Did you visit the courtyard that day as well?
Down below, yes, on the south end. I was down there.
Okay. Let's see. Officer, I'm going to turn your attention to State's Exhibit number 2. And that should come up on your monitor there. Let me know when you see that, if you would.
Your Honor, if we could maybe not have it on the lectern screen, we're getting reports that the documents shown on the lectern screen are being live streamed. It's live streamed. So maybe if we could just not show that one until it's admitted.
Mr. Grunander?
I'll submit it to the court, Judge. I've got copies of these for myself
Okay.
that I can refer to as I'm asking
Okay,
questions.
I'm here.
All right.
I'm seeing
Well, I'll
that.
go ahead and grant.
Let's do this.
Okay, Ms. Nestor,
I'm
thank you.
hearing a lot about the volume. Y'all can't hear it. I don't know exactly what's going on with Josh's stream, but I am gonna return back periodically just because I don't want to get copyrighted. But let's try this stream for a little bit, because I obviously want everybody to be able to hear it. So let's keep going.
Crime scene tape. That was some of our barrier that we put up so people wouldn't go.
Officer Bagley, are you able to see the monitor that's here in the court that's pointed towards the gallery.
Yes.
From where you're seated, are you comfortable in describing where the courtyard is on that photograph, on that exhibit?
Yes.
And for the record, where is that located?
So all the grass that looks like a triangle, the amphitheater look, that is going to be the courtyard amphitheater area. It's got the tint in it.
I think we
The
had
white
kinda
can be
already
this
heard
one
that
with
part.
the gray roofs. It's got two different colors of gray.
Two different colors of gray. Okay. I'm blind. I can't see those two different colors from here, but
No problem, Tracy.
can you describe where the court, looks like we went blank.
There we go.
Can you point to where the courtyard is located on that exhibit?
Courtyard's going to be here where this grass is in this area right here.
Okay. And what about the Fugal Building
Hugo Building is going to be this building right here.
and the Woodbury Business Building then?
Woodbury is going to be this one right here with this red brick path.
And the Sorensen Center?
Sorensen Center is going to be this white roofed one that's right here.
Okay. Now, on this exhibit, can you see the LDS Institute building and the parking structure that we've talked about?
No, not really. You got the back side of the Institute building, which is right here, and the parking structure's over there. So
Okay.
you can't see it in this.
Mr. Gernander, let me stop you just for the benefit of the record, because the record is picking up the audio. When you're pointing it to, and I know it may be a little bit laborious to do this, but as you're identifying, indicate the general location on it, or the left side, right side, middle, upper, lower, just so the record knows to some degree where you're pointing. And that way, because the video isn't being captured, so if you would do that, it just creates a more complete record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Understood. That's fair. Thank you, Judge. So again, let's point to the courtyard, and if you'll describe as best you can where that is located on the photograph.
On this photograph, the courtyard is going to be this grass area that's going to be towards the top of the picture. The baseball field's behind it. It's closer to the surrounding buildings. There's some grass in there. That would be the courtyard area.
Okay, we've talked about the Hall of Flags and the walkway above that hall. Where is that located on this photograph?
The Hall of Flags is going to be right by the courtyard, just to the west of it. There's a red brick towards the top of the picture. There's a red brick pathway that goes from the Fugal building, which is on the left of the picture, towards the right of the picture, which is the science building area.
Okay, and then the Sorensen Center, is that the building in the middle with the large white roof?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of towards the upper part of the picture, middle of it. It's going to be a white roof. That will be the Sorensen Center.
And just to the north and east of the courtyard?
Yes, north and east.
Okay, and then finally, if you would describe the Losi building, the location of that on this exhibit.
Sometimes I don't understand why they need to describe every single building and this and that. Is it just me? Even though I understand that when it comes to court, it's relevant information and everything. But sometimes I'm like, okay, you can clearly see that that building is blue. So let's move on. You know what I mean? Like, but in every single case that I've watched, they do this. So let's keep watching.
The Losi building can be pretty much in the middle on the right side, so middle to the right. It's going to have two different colors of gray, a darker gray and a lighter gray. There's a red pathway, and that will be the Losi Center.
Okay. You mentioned, officer, that there were different stories on the Losi building. How many stories does the Losi building have?
There's four.
4 stories? Okay. You mentioned that you were familiar with the rooftop. Do you know how to gain access to the rooftop of the Losi building?
Yes, there's actually an outside stairway right here that comes up. It's going to be just to the south of Losi building. There's a red pathway right directly in the middle of the picture. Off to the south of that, on the left side of the picture, is an outdoor stairway.
Is that open to the public?
It is.
And how would someone access the roof from that stairway?
If they came up, they would put them right here on this pathway that goes between the Losi Center and down towards the computer science building. There's a red pathway. There's actually a little handrail, like a little guardrail, probably about a couple feet high, that somebody could jump over.
Is that area restricted? Is it off limits?
Yes, it is. There's kind of like a natural barrier with the guardrail, and from there on, there's no path. It's gravel roof, so it's not paved like everything else.
But someone could hop over that railway?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, officer. You can take your seat again.
Interesting.
Officer Bagley, I'm now going to refer your attention to State's Exhibit number 3. That's going to come up on your monitor as well. Let me know when you see that.
Look at Tyler Robinson right there. This is Tyler Robinson if you're just joining. He's the suspect in this case. I mean, it's just a shame. And his lawyer is something else, as we talked about earlier.
Yes, I do see it.
Okay. And do you recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
This is a drone picture of the campus, more of the courtyard, looking eastward.
Okay. I've asked you about several buildings on campus. I'm going to ask you about those same buildings, whether they're depicted in this exhibit, okay? Do you see where the Hall of Flags is located?
Yes, I do. It's down towards the bottom. It's a red brick pathway. It would be the Hall flags.
Okay. What about the Fugal building?
Hugo Building's going to be to the right of the picture. It's going to be a white roof building off to the right, directly south of the courtyard.
And the Woodbury Business Building? Where's that at?
Woodbury is going to be another red path. That's going to be just to the east of the Fugal Building. It's got a gray roof and some red path.
The Sorensen Center?
Sorensen Center is going to be on the left of the picture. It's going to have a white roof, different levels, and that would be the Sorensen Center.
Okay. The Losi Center, where's that located in relationship to the Sorensen Center that you've described?
Of the Sorensen Center, it's going to be just directly east of the Sorensen Center, towards the top of the picture. You can see the two different colors of gray of the gravel that's on the roof.
Okay. And can you see the courtyard in this photograph?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Is this picture a fair and accurate depiction of this area of Utah Valley University's campus on September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
State offers Exhibit 3, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we renew the standing objection. We also object again that this individual can't identify when the picture was made or how it was made or by whom.
You have to be kidding me. Like, this is laughable at this point. I've never seen something like this happen where the defense objects to a map that anybody can verify. I mean, be real about this, ma'am. There's no reason to object here.
Mr. Gernander.
Same response, Judge. And just for the record, I was also point the court to State v. Purcell, which is a Supreme Court case here in the state of Utah, 1985, which essentially stands for the proposition that if a competent witness with personal knowledge of the facts represented in a photograph can testify that that photograph accurately represents those facts.
I mean, this is a waste of energy. It's not helping her case at all. It's just causing more confusion, and I hope she doesn't do this when the witnesses are up there, because that's going to throw the jury off, and that could confuse them, and they get distracted because she's constantly objecting, and that could actually cause a negative effect on her side and for her client, which I don't care about, that, but I'm just saying. You don't want to do stuff like this. It's not necessary. Nani, thank you so much for this $2 super chat that says thank you for covering this. It is my pleasure and my honor. I'm grateful to be here today to do this. So thank you so much.
The exhibit's admissible. He's also spoke about the date being September 10th, 2025. The showing that's required here is essentially a prima facie showing. We're not required to show proof beyond a reasonable doubt, for example, that it was accurate that day or even a preponderance of the evidence. But we'll submit it on that, Judge.
All right. I'm just taking a brief glance at the case you cited.
I can give the citation if Your Honor would like.
If you have that, I'd appreciate that.
It's 711 Pacific 2nd, 243. And I'm looking at page number 245.
All right. The court finds that the witness is familiar with the scene. He testified that it is a fair and accurate representation of what State's Exhibit 3 purports to be, and the court finds that necessary foundation has been laid and overrules the objection. State's Exhibit 3 may be admitted, is admitted, and may be published.
State would move to publish State's Exhibit 3.
All right.
She is dedicated to making everybody's job harder. I mean, come on, ma'am. Even the judge, I can tell, is a little bit irritated that she keeps doing that because it's so unnecessary this early on. Right now, they're just trying to establish, was this officer there? Does he know what buildings were around where this happened? That's really it. It's not like he's being asked questions that are, overly important. So for her to object to this stuff is wasting her time and it's wasting her energy.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
But as Minnie said, it's good for our side, that's for sure.
Officer, if you would come down into the well of the court, I'm going to ask you a few questions about this Exhibit 3 as well.
Okay.
Can you point out where the Hall of Flags is located and describe that for the record?
The Hall of Flags is going to be down here on the bottom of the picture. It's going to have a red brick pathway with some flowers along the top of it.
You mentioned that you were securing an area of that.
Yes.
That hall, that walkway. Where were you stationed?
I was down here by the end of the flower pots, which is down here on the south side towards the Fugal building on the far right of the picture.
Okay. In relationship to where you were stationed, where is the Fugal building then?
The Fugal building is just to the right of me, so it would be on the south end of me.
Okay. And so it's on the right side of the photograph there?
Far right side of the photograph, yes.
What about the business building?
The business building is just going to be in the middle of the picture on the far right. It's going to have some red brick pathways. It's going to be multi-level, and that would be the Woodbury building.
Okay. The Sorensen Center, where is that located on the photograph?
Sorensen Center is going to be middle to far left of the picture. It's going to have a white roof on top of it, multi-level.
Okay. And the Losi Center, where is that located?
Losi Center is going to be towards the top of the picture, kind of off-centered a little bit, but it's going to have the 4 or 5 floors that are sitting right there.
Okay. Can you describe those stories, what we're looking at? Where do you find 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly 5?
So this is ground level where the courtyard is. So this, as you go over in towards the Losi building inside, there's an elevator that would be ground 1, level
Okay.
1. Level 2 would be the second one where these red ATVs are sitting on the grass right there in the middle of the picture. If you go up from that, that would be the 3rd level. And your 4th level, which is the actual top level of the building, is that very top one with the windows that you can see.
Okay. Is there an atrium on the top of that?
There is an atrium. It's got a little sphere on the top of it. It looks like a little square right on top of the Losi building. That would be an atrium.
Now, you mentioned 2 shades of gray on the rooftop of the Losi building.
Yes,
Can you see that on this exhibit?
I can. So where the atrium is a lighter gray gravel. And on the west side, because I'm looking east, on the west side, there's 2 ventilations for the Losi building, 2 vents on top of that. It's in the darker gray
Okay.
gravel.
You mentioned you're familiar with the rooftop of the Losi Center, correct?
Yes.
Y'all, this is kind of the boring part of court, but I promise he'll probably get, well, I can't promise anything. I don't know how this is going to play out, but hopefully he'll start questioning him about things that we want to hear about. But every time a trial happens, even if it's a pre-trial, it's a preliminary, this is going to happen where they've got to go over the little details. What color was this building? Okay, well, what color was the sky? Was it blue that day or was it pink? I mean, stuff like that. That's just not always necessary, but I guess it establishes that that person is a credible witness. They were there. They know what they're talking about, and so on and so forth. Y'all be sure to hit that like button as well.
When someone is standing on the LoC Center,
And share
can
your
you
thoughts.
see
It
down
helps
into the courtyard?
boost the comments
Yes, it
or
can.
the
And
algorithm,
where's the
please.
courtyard located from
It's
the
going to
rooftop?
be in the center of the picture with the grass and the atrium-style steps.
Would that be direct, would that be west of the LoC Center then?
Yes, it would be directly west of the LoC Center.
Okay. Now, in a couple of the other exhibits, we saw a tent that was down, set up in the courtyard. Can you see that tent set up in the courtyard in this photograph?
You cannot, in this picture, you can't. It would be where I explained where the hall flags is. It's directly underneath the hall flags, like just on the grass right there.
Okay. Can someone, is there a clear line of sight between the tent and the top of the LoC Center, the rooftop?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Is some of it obstructed?
Yes.
Obstructed by what?
The Sorensen building that's right here, this white roof that's going to be, this kind of obstructs a little bit of the view of the courtyard.
So where would you have to be standing or perhaps lying down on the LoC Center to see into the courtyard where that tent was?
On the far south side of the LoC building, you could have a line of sight towards the courtyard.
And that's the top roof
The top roof, yes.
with the darker shade of gray that
Yes.
you see? Okay. Thank you, officer. I am going to refer the witness now to State's Exhibit number 35. And Officer Bagley, when you see that, go ahead and let me know.
Let me skip. I feel like he's probably already seen it by now.
So we don't have this in electronic form? We do, okay. Well, I'll refer you to the exhibit that's to your left and behind you. Do you see that?
I do.
And it's marked as State's Exhibit 35 with a yellow sticker, is that correct?
Yes, I can see that on top left of the photo.
Well, for the record, if we can publish that on the witness's screen.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. I was just going to mention that we shouldn't display it until it's been admitted in, so.
Do you see State's Exhibit 35 in your monitor?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
This is an aerial view of the campus and the northeast area, just north of the campus neighborhoods of Utah Valley University in Orem.
Okay. And how can you personally tell that this is a photograph of the campus?
It's the roundabouts, the neighborhood to the north or towards the top of the building or picture.
I'm confused. Why did they take down the map that was just sitting up here? They should have left that up, even though he can see it on the screen. I want to be able to see it.
Also,
Now, I've asked you about several buildings and landmarks on campus. Are you able to see the courtyard on this exhibit?
yes, you are.
And just for the record, can you describe where this is located on the exhibit?
So right in the center towards the bottom, there's a white triangle roof. That's white. That would be the Sorensen building. It's the patch of grass that's just directly south of towards the bottom of that on the picture. So it's kind of centered, but more towards the bottom, right in the middle.
On this exhibit, are you able to see the Fugel building?
Yes, I am.
And in relationship to this courtyard, where is that located?
That's going to be south of the courtyard with the white roof.
What about the Woodbury Business Building?
Woodbury Business Building is going to be to the east, and it's going to have a red brick path top.
Okay.
Okay, y'all, this is not a sponsorship. If you see me drinking this water for Mint, just know this is not sponsored, but I was at the grocery store the other day, and for whatever reason, they had these on sale. They were like three for $3 or something, so I decided to try them. Not bad, not bad.
Okay. Can you see the Hall of Flags on this?
Yes, you can.
And where is that located in relationship to the courtyard again?
It's directly west of the courtyard.
And the LoC Center. Can you see the LoC Center?
Yes, you can see the Losi
Where's
Center.
that at?
It's going to be kind of northeast of the courtyard. The two patches of gray that's almost in the center of the picture, just to the slight right of the center.
Okay. I've asked you previously about the LDS Institute building. Can you see that on this exhibit?
Yes, you can.
And where is that located in relationship to the Losi Center?
It's directly north of the Losi Center. It's got a white roof, and it's almost directly in the center of the photo.
Okay. And as we've talked about a parking structure that's nearby the Institute building, do you see that?
Yes, it's just to the west or left side of the picture of the Institute building.
Okay. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of Utah Valley University's campus and the surrounding neighborhood to the north and east on September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
State offers State's Exhibit 35.
Your Honor, renew the standing objection and object on the grounds that there's no indication on this photograph of when it was taken in terms of relation to the actual incident at issue here.
Thank you, Ms. Nestor. Mr. Granato.
Same response, Judge, but would just add one more case for the court's benefit. This is State v. Wager, or Wager, W-A-G-E-R. This is a Utah Court of Appeals case from 20.
This is unbelievable. Another objection. Now, I want to show you guys the map. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in some, just so we kind of have some sort of awareness of what they're talking about. I don't know exactly where he's referring to as far as relation to the tent at this point, but this is kind of a map of the school, just so you're aware of what it looks like. It looks like it's a pretty nice size school, not as big as my university, but still pretty big. I can't really place out exactly where the tent would be because I don't know, but I wanted to at least show you guys that so you're aware. Now, let's get back to the defense, who is objecting to something else, which is just unbelievable.
16, the citation is 372 Pacific 3rd, 91. And the significance of this case, Your Honor, at issue there was a photograph of the defendant there who was smoking methamphetamine allegedly in his bathroom.
Wow.
The witness that was testifying, that laying the foundation at trial, was not present when the photograph was taken. Could not tell the date on which it was taken, but he had been in the bathroom before, was familiar with the defendant's bathroom and familiar with the defendant. He testified to that personal knowledge, and the court found that was sufficient foundation. So that case, in addition to the other case, the Purcell case, and my previous arguments, and I'll submit it to the court.
Ms. Nestor, anything else you wish to add?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Given the testimony of the witness who's testified he's familiar with this location, he went in detail describing the various neighborhoods and location. He mentioned the roundabout and identified the buildings in State's Exhibit 35. And it was noted that it is a fair and accurate representation of this campus as of September 10th, 2025. The court is going to overrule the objection, and State's Exhibit 35 is admitted into evidence and may be published.
Thank you, Judge. The state moves to publish it, and if granted, may I approach the exhibit?
You may.
Just a quick refresher, just because I see more people joining the chat. Shout out to everybody who's joined. Shout out to you, William. I see you in the chat. Some of my mods are coming by, it seems as though. Just a refresher, because I know some people didn't get to catch the beginning. The prosecutors are going to interview Officer Chris Bately, which he's up right now, Agent David Hall, Agent Brian Davis, Sergeant Jennifer Miranda, and they're going to show between 20 and 40 exhibits. Also, Officer Chris hold up. He mentions that he patrolled the neighborhood, and also he was responsible for making sure that the tent that Charlie Kirk was under was secure. He was responsible for that area. Also, he verifies that he recognizes 4 different important buildings that are going to be brought up in this case on the map that you're seeing there on the screen. And also his job was to secure the hall flags on the south end. And he was asked about the locations of the building in relation to the Utah Valley University. Defense keeps objecting to the maps. So if you're just now joining, some reason, which obviously, in my opinion, the defense doesn't have a case, and it's pretty evident because they keep objecting to simple things like, oh, the prosecutor's like, can I show this witness this map? The defense is like, we object. And I'm just like, what? And she's like, we object because we don't know who took a picture of that map and we can't verify if it's real or whatever. And I'm just like, it's a map. Let's be real. And so she's continuing to do that. And like I said earlier, it's a waste of energy. Also, we just heard that the defendant was allegedly smoking meth in the bathroom. Now, what bathroom? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure we're going to hear more about that. And also, the witness, Officer Chris, just verified that he is familiar with the roundabout, which will obviously be important since they're bringing it up. And the judge just said that it's fair and accurate, everything that has been presented. And the witness has been able to confirm that. So let's continue.
Officer, I've asked you about a number of the buildings located on campus. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions about those and to help orient the court to what the judge is looking at, and then ask you about some of the streets in the neighborhood, okay?
Okay.
For the court's benefit, can you point out where the LDS Institute building is?
Yes, I can.
And I'm going to approach the witness again if you could describe where it's at on that Exhibit 35.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So you want the LDS Institute building? Is what you're
Yes,
asking?
please.
That is this white roof right here is the Institute building.
Is that in basically the center of the exhibit?
It's almost exactly in the center of the exhibit.
Okay, and where is the LOSI Center located on that?
If you were to go down towards the bottom of the photo, there's 2 different grades of gravel on this roof. This would be the LOSI building right here,
So below the Institute building and to the right slightly.
slightly to the right.
Can you point out for the court's benefit where the courtyard is?
The courtyard is going to be to the west or left side of the picture. There's some grass in between 2 buildings that have a white roofs. There would be a grass area right there with some steps. That is going to be the courtyard area, and that's going to be down towards the center bottom of the photo.
So that's to the left and down.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned the parking structure. Where's the parking structure next to the Institute building?
There's 2 Institute buildings right here in the center with the white roof. The parking structure is going to be just to the left of the Institute or west side. There's a road in between it called the Heat Plant Road, which is the road that goes between those 2.
And can you point out for the court's benefit how one would enter that or exit that parking structure by way of vehicle or walking?
By entering, you can enter and exit right here on the north side of the parking structure. There's an entrance and exit right here. That's
For a
into level
vehicle?
1
For a vehicle?
for vehicles.
And I guess someone could walk in there as well.
Yes, if they were to park into this LDS Institute parking lot over here on the north side of that, there's a tunnel that goes underneath the road that still comes out into the parking structure itself. And then they can exit out here on the second level onto Heat Plant Road, which is that road between the LDS Institute building and the parking structure is the Heat Plant. They can exit there and go back towards Campus Drive. So you could walk out either up here on the northeast side of the parking structure and cross over to the LDS Institute, or you can come out here to the southeast side and you can exit there and walk down to the courtyard or behind the LDS Institute building towards the LOSI Center.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned Campus Drive. Where's Campus Drive located on that?
Campus Drive starts right up here towards the top left of the picture. It's almost like a T. And it's the curved road that comes all the way down in front of the Institute building and the parking structure. And it goes all the way around campus, comes back down to the bottom of the picture where the roundabout is, and that would be Campus Drive.
Okay.
So from what I'm taking from that, it's more than likely that Tyler Robinson entered through the LDS Institute parking lot, and that's why this is being brought up. That's what I'm taking from that.
Are you familiar with where 800 South is in Orem?
Yes.
Is that depicted on this exhibit?
It is.
Where's that at?
It's at the top of this photo. It's going to be the long straight road. That's right here at the top of the photo.
Okay. What about 850 South? Are you familiar with that street?
I am. 850 South is going to be towards the right of the photo.
I'm going to switch streams for a second, for a little while.
It's more of a short bang pop sound. With the rifle, you have more of a longer, violent.
Let's rewind that just a little bit.
The shot I heard was more of a rifle shot and not a pistol shot.
Okay.
And what was that?
Everybody kind of got up. They all said a lot of people were screaming, standing up, and starting to.
No, we need
Okay.
to go back a
We'll take you
little
back to
bit.
September 10th.
He might be ahead of the
Fast
other
forward to
news network.
about 12:20 or so, so a little bit after noon, the noon hour. What happened? What did you see and what did you hear?
I heard an individual talking to Charlie, and I happened to kind of glance over the edge of the railing about that time. I could see the right side of Charlie's shoulder, so not his whole body, because he was underneath the tent, so I could only see probably the right side of his body. He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired.
Do you know what time that was?
Yes,
What time was that?
12:23.
What did you see?
At that moment, I saw him lean to the left, so
When you say him, you
Charlie.
Charlie.
So I saw him go to the left because I could no longer see the right side of his body. So he went further underneath the tent to the north side of the tent, so left.
Okay. Can you describe the reaction of others that were there?
Yeah, so then everybody started getting up and starting to run in more of a chaos kind of situation.
Before you continue, can you describe a little bit? So you mentioned Mr. Kirk was answering questions, talking to individuals.
Yes,
Were there others present?
yes.
Any idea about approximately how many? How would you describe it in your terms?
In my terms, I'd say when I was up there looking down, I'd say there's several thousand people because you had it on the grass that was jam-packed, in the amphitheater sitting on the grass. You had people standing on the back up along the cement. You had people that were on the second level, the Sorensen, and over by the Woodbury building. There's another level there where a lot of people were standing and watching. So it was pretty packed,
Okay.
several thousand people.
You mentioned you heard something.
A
What
couple
did you hear
thousand
again?
people.
I heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you describe you described Mr. Kirk's reaction? Was that simultaneous to hearing the gunshot
Yes, it was.
when he fell to the left?
Yes,
Did you see the reaction from the crowd?
yes.
What was that?
Everybody.
So
kinda
let's
got
stop
up. They
that
all
for a
said-
second. Because didn't I hear just a few days ago that Candace Owens said that apparently whatever killed Charlie Kirk was on him? And she said it could possibly be a microphone. Well, this Officer Chris Bately, has just announced that he heard a gunshot. So that theory has now been disproven because someone who was actually there said that they heard an actual gunshot, which is what everybody thought. Now, we all saw the video of Charlie Kirk being unfortunately assassinated. Nothing in me told me that it was a microphone that was exploding. But that, you see what people will do in order to keep their theory and their story going, even if they know what they're saying sounds absolutely crazy and absurd. It's unfortunate, but stuff like that has to be called out because it's not true.
A lot of people were screaming, standing up, and starting to run in all different directions away from the center of the tent.
Okay. You're a police officer. helping to secure the area, correct?
And like Minnie said, that's why she's not covering the trial more than likely. Because everything that she's been sharing with the public is not true at all. And so she's just, I don't know what her next move is, but I already know it's probably going to have something to do with lies.
Yes.
What did you do?
At that moment, I recognized it as gunfire. I left my post, which was right there on the south end of the Hall of Flags. I proceeded to between right where the Fugle and the Hall of Flags meet. There's some outside stairs that I was starting to run down. As I was trying to get down to the bottom of the stairs, people are running up, people are laying down on the steps. I'm trying to jump over people to get to the bottom of the stairs so I can help stop an individual that's probably shooting.
What happened next?
By the time I got to the bottom of the stairs, I was informed on the radio that we had a shooter in custody. So I thought at that moment, I was like, oh, that was kind of fast. Obviously, it was close range probably because we had an individual in custody. Another officer came on and said we had an individual in custody. So I decided to, since the threat is gone, now I can assess for anybody that's injured and start looking for any medical needs that's needed at that moment. I started canvassing the area. As I canvassed the area, I was looking for anybody that was injured. I saw a kid on the ground that was on about the second or third tier in the grass next to a wheelchair, and he was almost convulsing. I thought he'd maybe been shot. Talked to the dad as I was running over there. He said that he was just having a seizure, that he was fine, he was not injured. So then at that moment, I observed that there was no other injuries that I could see at that moment.
Okay. Was your attention drawn to anything else at that time?
Yeah, so after we got some people kind of cleared away a little bit, I thought I needed to start preserving the scene because we had a crime scene. And with some of my experience and training to that effect I decided now we need to contain the scene and help preserve as much evidence as we can. So I started pushing people off the grass out of the courtyard area because I knew that's where the crime scene was. So as we started pushing those guys out, my Chief Long, that was right next to me, I looked down and saw an empty pistol holder that was sitting just on top of the grass. And at that moment, things had died down just a split second. I realized that the shot I heard was more of a rifle shot and not a pistol shot.
Yeah, let me write that down. Just so everybody knows. What this officer heard was more of a shot that was a rifle shot, not a pistol shot. Let me write that down. I want to remember that. So when I hear the next latest theory, I'm going to bring that up. All right?
And what causes you to say that?
Just from being around firearms through all my trainings, the difference is, a handgun is more of a short bang pop sound. With a rifle, you have more of a longer, violent bang or crackle sound. It's more of a violent kind of sound. It's longer. So that's why I recognized it.
Okay. Is a
Y'all are
rifle
so
sound
sweet.
louder typically?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, don't worry.
Going
We're
back
going to
to the
have a
numbers.
recap too. We're going to have a recap from day one. Because there's been a lot of lies going around. And the truth is what sets people free. So I'm not going to sit here and not take notes, all right?
This gunshot, could you tell where it came from? As far as direction?
Yes, I knew it came from the east of me.
From the east of you. Okay. So you see this realization comes to your mind. What did you do next?
At that moment when I saw the holster, the empty holster, I turned to my chief and I said, that was a rifle shot. And he said, I agree. And I looked up at that moment, right in the line of sight, I could see the Losi building had a direct line of sight. So I proceeded to go look at that and see what was going on up there.
Okay. Can you just briefly describe your route to the Losi Center?
William said, I'm a recovering Candace fan. My life is getting better every day. I know that's right.
So from the courtyard, you can go into the Sorensen Center. And like I said earlier, there was on level 1, there's some elevators or there's stairs. I ran up 4 flights of stairs, got to the 4th level of the Losi building. and proceeded to the south of the LoSI building. There's some stairs, which is at breezeway between the computer science building and the LoSI building. There's some stairs that go up to the top of that. And so I went to the top of that.
Is that the stairway that you previously described?
Yes, on the outside of the LoSI building. Just
Okay. And it's a public stairway?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you make it to the rooftop?
I did.
Do you know about what time you got there?
I got it there at 12:44.
Okay. What did you do when you got on top?
When I got on top, I hopped over the guardrail. I noticed that there was an object which was sitting right about 10 or 15 feet in from the other side of the guardrail in the gravel. That looked out of place to me.
And
What was the
in
object?
relationship to where you hopped over the guardrail, what direction was that object?
To the west of the guardrail.
Okay. And did you recognize the object?
I did.
And what was it?
It was a red and black screwdriver.
Okay. Did you touch that object?
I did not.
Okay. I am going to refer the witness on your screen, Officer Bagley, to State's Exhibit 3.1. Let me know when you see that.
Yes, I see it.
Do you recognize what that is?
I do.
And what is that?
That's a picture of the screwdriver that I saw that day on top of the rooftop of the LoSI building.
What was Tyler Robinson using a screwdriver for? Why did he need a screwdriver?
And that's how it appeared on the roof that day?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the screwdriver you observed and found that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit 3.1.
Ms. Nestor?
Your Honor, we renew, we renew our standing objection and object on the grounds that there's no foundation laid as to when the photo was taken or by whom. Thank you.
Same response, Judge. My previous arguments.
And did you state that this was a fair and accurate representation as of September?
Another objection. I'm going to start keeping count. I think that's number 3. Am I right, y'all? Is it number 3? This is the 3rd time she's objected. I mean, is she going to object every single time? Is that her usual strategy? Because if it is, it's a waste of time. And it's laughable. Like, it's ridiculous. You're going to lose the case anyways, but you don't need to object to everything. It's just, it makes you look like a bad lawyer.
September 10th, 2025.
I had said that day. I'll ask it again to the officer. Officer Bagley, you saw this screwdriver you're describing on September 10th, 2025. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is State's Exhibit 3.1 a fair and accurate depiction of that screwdriver that day, September 10th, 2025?
Yes.
All right.
State moves to admit.
I will go ahead and admit, State's Exhibit 3.1 is admitted based off of the firsthand knowledge of this, what this image purports to be, and is a fair and accurate representation as this item on that date of September 10th, 2025. And this
Somebody
Is it
said I'll
really
lose count with her. That's too
Your Honor,
funny.
before we continue to publish it and ask you for
Probably.
more questions, right now might be a good time to take a break.
Oh,
That's
okay.
okay with the court.
all right, let's come back at it. It's 10:43.
Who this lady is who continues to object. So let's see. Who is... Who is Tyler Robinson's lawyer? Let's check it out. Okay, that's just okay. So looks like her name is Catherine Nestor. All right, so this is Tyler Robinson's lawyer, Catherine N. Nestor. It says here that Nestor is an experienced trial lawyer who has been trying cases in federal and state court for over 30 years. Her 60-plus jury trials have included a wide variety of complex cases, including capital murder, complex fraud. You see the word there. I won't say it on YouTube, but certain offenses, drugs and weapons cases in criminal courts, and wrongful death, civil rights violations, employment discrimination, and serious personal injury cases in civil courts. Several of her cases have received national and international press coverage, and her cases have been featured on court TV, in the New York Times, and on national and local television programs. One of her homicide trials was the subject of a nationally published book by an award-winning author. Interesting. So I'm kind of surprised by all her objections. If she has 30 years of experience, I don't understand her strategy. And then here are a couple more people on her team. She has Wendy M. Lewis, which I haven't seen her yet. So if Wendy is on her team, we need to definitely pay attention and see if we can spot her in the courtroom, because all these attorneys have teams, so I'm always curious. But here's just a little bit of a backstory on Wendy. It says here that Wendy Lewis graduated from the University of Utah College of Law in 1991, where she was a William H. Leary Scholar and a member and editor of the Utah Law Review. Upon graduation, she moved to Denver, Colorado, where she clerked for the Honorable Robert H. McWilliams of the 10th Circuit Courts of Appeals. While clerking for Judge McWilliams, she worked on both federal, civil, and criminal cases of all varieties. It was during this clerkship that she developed her love of criminal law. So she returned back to Utah in 1992 and worked as an associate for a private law firm where she handled complex criminal cases and a variety of civil matters, including personal injury, domestic, and contract law. Wendy took numerous state and federal cases to trial while in private practice, including homicide, rape, and fraud cases, and achieved a number of acquittals for her clients. Interesting. Now, that's a little bit of a backstory on who Tyler Robinson's defense team is. I want to take a look at the state. Who are the prosecutors? So it looks like we know the judge is Tony Graff. Who are the prosecutors though? Let me see. Interesting. I don't even see the prosecutors' names. Well, it looks like they're about to be back in the courtroom. I'm going to keep looking to see if I can find the prosecutors' names, because I am curious to know who the prosecutors are. I didn't catch their names at the beginning.
Declined. All right,
It
turning
looks
to
like
the
they're
state,
back
you may
in.
call your 1st witness.
Let's keep watching.
Your Honor, the state calls Officer Chris Bagley.
Actually, they're not back in. So we can still keep looking. Yeah, it just says prosecutors. Do y'all know the prosecutors' names? Let's see. Yep, it just says prosecutors here, so I'm not exactly sure who the prosecutors are yet. I'll keep an eye out on it though. Let you guys know if I find out. Now, there was a statement released by Erica Kirk. Let's get into that really quick, and then let's get back into the court proceedings. Just so you guys know, my coverage will end probably around 12:15. And I'll provide recaps and things of that nature later today. I've got an appointment that I cannot miss. So, but I wanted to at least get on here and talk to y'all and watch some of the preliminary hearing with you, because I know how consequential this case is. And I want to be there every step of the way with you guys. So thank you everybody for joining today. I hope everybody's having a great day. Erica Kirk released a statement that says, "Statement on behalf of Charlie Kirk's immediate family, his parents, Robert and Catherine, his wife, Erica, and his sister, Mary. Charlie was a beloved husband, son, brother, friend, and father. Every court proceeding serves as a painful reminder of his death and the loss that has irrevocably impacted our lives and the lives of his children. We remain deeply grateful for the support, prayers, and kindness we have received. This outpouring of has sustained us during the darkest days of our lives. Out of respect for the judicial process, we will not be commenting further at this time. We ask for continued privacy as we navigate this process and immense grief." I think we can all respect that. At least I do. I don't expect them to want to respond to everybody's comments, but it is good to hear from Erica Kirk. And Candace Owens chimes in. I see her post popped up too. It says, "Today the Tyler Robinson trial begins. Evidence like text messages, confessions will be allowed in the courtroom, despite the fact that Tyler's defense has not been allowed to vet those messages to determine if they were doctored or who actually sent them." Interesting. Remember, the FBI and ATF was not forced to turn over key evidence despite multiple discovery requests because the judge has ruled it's not necessary at this stage. Well, this is the preliminary hearing. Not all evidence will be presented, but enough evidence will be shown to support that that Tyler Robinson is indeed the assassin. Not everything's going to be presented at this time. That's kind of obvious. Key witness testimony from Lance Twiggs will be played, but Lance Twiggs is not allowed to be cross-examined because the judge has ruled it's not necessary at this stage. Okay. Today is about emotion. You will hear the Fed's narrative. I'm not going to read the rest of that. You guys are welcome to. You can already see kind of what Candace Owens is, where her mindset is. And I don't like that she's planting seeds of doubt and discord in the community. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to question the official narrative, but Candace has gone beyond that. And that's the issue that so many people have with her, is that she's not acting in good faith. And clearly, if you haven't noticed, she's leading you somewhere. She says We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Where is she getting closer to? She's leading you closer to communism. She's leading you closer to accepting socialism. She's leading you closer to embracing countries like Russia and their values, which are anti-American. She's leading you closer to a dark path. She's not leading you closer to happiness, to remembering the values that have sustained our country and embracing those values. She's actually making you question the ideals of our very foundation of this country. It's not good. So, that's why I don't want to pay too much attention to that. Let's see what's happening happening on here. Quite a few people in Josh's live. Be sure to support him. He's the one who's streaming this. Shout out to Josh for streaming this platform for us. And then also I've been streaming another live as well. Shout out to East Idaho News, and shout out to, I haven't really streamed Officer Tatum as much, but we might stream his a little bit later. So right now we're just kind of waiting. They're on break. I may not even be able to watch the rest of this with you guys, because as soon as it's 12:15, I'm going to have to jump off of here. But I did want to join and at least watch some of it with you all. And thank you all for the support. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, join the conversation below. Also, if you want any of your comments read and questions to be answered, be sure to send those in super chats. It also helps the show to stay on air. And I appreciate everybody's support. So it looks as though Andrew Colvett has chimed in, and they're streaming.
It's a long
I
clip,
want to
bear
see
with
what they're
us,
saying.
but I think this is kind of one of the central pieces. Okay, it's ready. Let's go ahead and play it. Jake, can you hang there just right now while we play this? It's a longer clip, bear with us, audience, but this is the way the court works. SOT 19.
You mentioned you heard something. What did you hear again?
I heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you describe you described Mr. Kirk's reaction? Was that simultaneous to hearing the gunshot?
Yes, it was.
When he fell to the left?
Yes.
Did you see the reaction from the crowd?
Yes.
What was that?
Everybody kind of got up. They all said, a lot of people were screaming, standing up, and starting to run in all different directions away from the center of the tent.
They're playing this clip because Candace Owens said whatever killed Charlie Kirk was on him. And clearly, this statement, this testimony contradicts what she said. Officer Chris, who was there on the scene, says that actually he heard a gunshot and that this gunshot more than likely came from a rifle, not a pistol. So it wasn't an exploding mic, so we can go ahead and stop spreading that theory because it's simply not true.
Okay. You're a police officer helping to secure the area, correct?
Yes.
What did you do?
At that moment, I recognized it as gunfire. I left my post, which was right there on the south end of the Hall of Flags.
Jay, I apologize. I guess the hearing is coming back, and is it already up, guys? All right, so we're gonna go back to the hearing. J-Town, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna be in close contact this week, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and take the court hearing.
Representatives are entitled to be treated with
I want to stream this one for a little while.
I looked down and saw an empty pistol holder
Hold on one
that was
second.
sitting
Before we get started,
just on top of the grass.
I want to clarify.
And at that moment, things had died down just a split second. I realized that the shot I heard was more of a rifle shot.
Gallery, and third is the publication, which is electronically captured by the media. So, counsel, I'll leave it to you in regards to what you object to or what you wish to respond to. If no objection to the publication media capture of the exhibit is specifically raised, the court will presume there's no objection. So being that the monitor was introduced today by the court, I wanted to offer that guidance to the parties in regards to your objections. With that, let's go ahead and return to the witnesses. I do note for the record that the council is present and all the parties are present, and let's go ahead and proceed. Mr. Grunander.
Thank you, Your Honor. We left off Officer Bagley with just having admitted State's Exhibit 3.1. I believe the court also granted our motion to publish 3.1. So we would ask the court to publish that to the gallery, 3.1.
Ms. Nestor, any thoughts?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll go ahead and publish Exhibit 3.1. Looks like it's just taking a second to come up on the screen. Let's go ahead and unplug and replug in the monitor to see if that brings it back to life, to display.
Interesting.
All right, Mr. Grunander.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Bagley, so you testified that this is the screwdriver as you saw it on September 10th, 2025, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to, and this was on top of which roof?
The Losi building.
And in relationship to the entrance, the stairway, and when you hopped over the rail to get there, where was it located?
About 10 or 15 feet in.
Okay. If I could, Your Honor, bring up State's Exhibit number 2 that was previously admitted.
All right.
I would like to have Officer Bagley come down from the witness stand and point on that exhibit approximately where this screwdriver was located and describe it for the record.
All right, you may step down, and if you have a microphone for him as well.
I think there was one up there. Oh, here we go.
What is going on with this screwdriver? This is the first time I'm hearing of it, which is not surprising, but you would think that certain people who have been covering this case had all the evidence, but yet this screwdriver was not mentioned. So this is new information.
So if you can describe where you saw that screwdriver, point to that.
Yeah, so this is the Losi building right here with the light gray. Here's the guardrail in the center of the picture with the red brick. Just over that, about 10, 15 feet in, about right there.
About right there. Okay. Now on this exhibit, Exhibit 3.1, there's an evidence tag, yellow number 5. Was that present when you found the screwdriver?
No.
Okay. So that was left there by an evidence tech.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You can take your seat again. Officer, I'm going to direct your attention to your monitor again and have you look at State's Exhibit 3.2. And if you'll let me know when you see that.
Okay, I see it.
Okay. And can you tell us what that is?
Yes, that's a picture of the top of the LoSi building looking west.
Okay. And how do you know that that is, in fact, the top of LoSi Center, looking west?
I can see the landmarks of several buildings, the Fugel buildings on the top left of it. You've got on the right is a white roof, which is the Sorensen building on the right side of the picture. This is also the gravel area on top of the LoSi building.
Okay. Can you see the courtyard from this exhibit?
Yes, a little bit.
What about the tent that was set up that Mr. Kirk was underneath?
Yes,
Okay. What about the Hall of Flags?
yes.
Okay. So he sees everything. We've gone over this. Let's get to it.
Did you mention that this was facing west? What direction are we looking?
We're looking west towards Utah Lake.
Okay. Officer, is this a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed on September 10th, 2025 on top of the LoSi building?
Yes.
State offers State's Exhibit 3.2, Judge.
Ms. Nestor?
Your Honor, I think that we renew our standing objection. There is an evidence tag here, which begs the question that it's not a fair and accurate representation of how he saw it. And we also don't have any indication about when this picture was taken or by whom. So we object to its admission.
That was number 4,
Thank
her
you.
4th objection.
Mr.
y'all.
Grunander?
Officer, one more question, Judge. Officer Bagley, apart from the evidence tag, do you see an evidence tag on that photograph?
Yes, I do.
That was 4 or
that
5.
present when you were on top of the LoSi Center and has observed this?
That was not.
Okay, otherwise, is it fair and accurate?
Yes.
State moves to admit.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Given that follow-up question, noting that the evidence tag, it appears to be number 2 on State's Exhibit 3.2 was not present, but otherwise it is a fair and accurate representation as stated by the witness to State's Exhibit 3.2. The court will admit it into evidence, and it may be published at the discretion of or the request of counsel.
Your Honor, the state would move to publish it.
All right.
All right. So they're going to publish some evidence. As you guys know, I kind of talked about this beforehand. I'm going to have to get off of here. I have an appointment that I have to attend. I'm going to continue to listen to this throughout the day. I plan to post more videos tonight, so expect some sort of form of a recap of what's been shared today. And I want to thank everybody for joining this live. So many of you hung out and stayed around since the beginning, and I want to appreciate you doing that because I know you could have chosen anybody's live, but you chose to watch the Tamara Neely show, and that means a lot to me. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button. Be on the lookout for more videos to come today. We're going to cover a lot of topics this week, not just Tyler Robinson's hearing, but I have a lot scheduled for you guys. So make sure your post notifications are on. We are in a culture war, and we have to continue to put on the full armor of God so that we can be able to, the enemy's already defeated. But we've got to, of course, let's just continue to do our part, and that's share the truth. And that's what we believe in doing on this show. So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining. Like I said, be on the lookout. I see so many of you in the chat, and I want to thank all of you for being here. I love you. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, enjoy, or what do I usually say? Join the conversation below. I love you, and you'll hear from me soon. Talk to you later. Love you.